Hello, guys. I'm just waiting for something to upload. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right, great. It's still not updating for some reason. Oh, brother. Refresh again. Let's try refreshing again. Hmm. Did update it, but it's not updating. All right. Okay, so did everyone here manage to complete the assignment from earlier? Well, the class exercise, that's really what it is. Anybody? Some people? I don't see any thumbs up. Where are my thumbs ups?
Gonna finish it after class and upload it, sir.
All right, cool. Anybody else? No thumbs ups, guys? I know, so the pressure don't start yet. Okay, one and two. All right, who started? Who started then? Let me put it that way. Thumbs ups are people who started. Let me give myself some motivation. All right, yes, I'm slightly more motivated. All right. Okay, let's see. So we are here to talk about the theory assignment, and my hope is that it will actually um show up. Let's see. Share, embed link. Okay, we got this. All right, guys, I'm just copying some code. Refresh, and oh, okay, good. It actually was working, but it just took a little while to come up. All right, guys. So for the next couple classes, um let's look on our schedule here. We are supposed to be dealing with so we're going to be dealing with the theory presentations, right? Everybody's supposed to have dealt with their Autodesk stuff. Everybody have Revit good to go, because you're going to need Revit for that one. And let me see now. So week one, yeah, no, week two. Right. So we're going to be looking on the BIM sample project. So that is where we are at now. And I think when you guys come back from study tour, yeah, we're going to continue that discussion, right? So I want to show you guys, well, it's not too late. If I can find where I put the link. It's coming. Welcome, welcome, one and all. So in the theory classes, we're going to be dealing with the theory stuff, the theory presentation. And in the practical classes, we're going to be dealing with the major project. These may merge as we go further down into the semester, where we're going to dedicate both classes to deal with the major project. Because as you know, with this module, the major project is major, right? So I'm going to be doing all I can do to help you guys out. Of course, when I need stuff to show, the computer has to be updating, of course. That's how it always is. Okay. All right, good. Lovely. Finally.
There,
Yes. Question?
I have a question. In my SketchUp file, I cannot do this solar study because I'm not logged in. I don't have a. I'm not sure if SketchUp is free or not, but I cannot log in.
Yeah, but the login is free. Regardless of if you have official or downloaded version, no matter. The login is free. So you can just sign in with your Google account or whatever. Or you can do it online.
But I'm learning online, so how can I upload a working file? You have to pay
Oh,
over-
oh yeah, man, it's there. If you go, oh my goodness, why is this still not playing? Oh, it is playing. Computer is just being right. So if you go to ta-da. Right. So when you go to the web app and you sign in, if you when you're here, just go to open from device, and then it's going to bring up a browse window, and that's how you open it. You just pick any file on your computer. All right?
So I can save the file the same way? And
Yeah. Yeah, man. When you open the file, so for example, open this Land Rover file here. Oh, well, see, well, this is a large model. Let's see if it opens. But we're not going to be dealing with a large model. Right, here we go. So if we have this model here, then you go to save. You can see when you click save, you're going to save it to your login, and then you can download it if you want. Or let me see. You can download as SKP. There you go. So when you choose that, it will download this file that you're working on as a SketchUp file. There you go. All right. Right. And then, of course, the location feature is right here. All right. All right, guys. Movie time.
We are on the site of the former Snowden building in Monongahela Bank that was torn down about a year ago now here in downtown Brownsville. It had to be demolished because of the fact that it was falling into the street.
Case Technologies, along with Autodesk, we started a project back in Volterra, Italy about 6 years ago to digitally preserve some of the most important archaeological and architectural sites in the world. And it introduced us to this whole idea of digital preservation and how powerful that can be for a community. We use scanners that digitize every little detail about the building in a three-dimensional way. We like to think of it as like a time capsule. We've captured this building in time so that it can be with us forever virtually. The buildings that we had captured here, as you can see, are no longer here. So the fact that we were able to scan them before they were demolished, we now have that digital twin of what they used to be. We can now take that data, which is incredibly accurate, and we can reconstruct the building back to its former glory.
This is the Union Station building. It's the original corporate home of the Monongahela Railroad.
The exciting thing about Brownsville right now from Autodesk perspective is that Brownsville is a big piece of what's new.
Autodesk, seeing the work that we had done here, taking that data and imagining what would have been like had they not been torn down, but if they could have been rehabilitated into a new building. We were showing this data to Paul, and Paul's a partner of ours, and Paul came up with this great idea to turn this data into this.
What you see with historic preservation are these opportunities that start to bubble up that are not about the past, but they're about the future.
Because now when you go in, you can actually see.
We've also extended this as an educational program with the Brownsville High School students, giving them this reconstructed model. They can go in using gaming software and other modeling software, start to interact with it. They're learning about technology using a historic building from Brownsville. They're adding additional features to the model, lighting and materials and the train with smoke coming out of it, etc. And they just love it. And the testimonials we have from the students are just remarkable. You know, we've had tearful testimonials from students saying, "This has given me so much confidence, and I can't believe I'm actually able to do this stuff."
The digital step is valuable because it enables people without a living memory to actually see the building restored. The digital restoration of the project really allows people's imaginations to transcend time, and then allows them to begin to even have a conversation about what the future could look like. Brownsville, as a leader in the American Revolution and as a leader in the Industrial Revolution, is now ushering in a new era of Industrial Revolution. This is the model for how the world is functioning. And this is the model for our students, and not just our local students, but now students worldwide.
And so I like to say that the work we do is with the design heroes, and we do this because we're all committed to making the world a better place.
Okay, so what you saw was, hopefully my computer can handle all these files. What you saw was something that we see every day. So this is the project, right? So this is the Autodesk sample project. Pretty much all Autodesk projects since 2023, I think. All Revit software since 2023 comes with this sample project. And when we open Revit for the first time, it's there. Anybody ever check out this project yet? Anybody? Thumbs up if you had. Sample project built into Revit. The first time you install Revit, it's there. Anybody? Nobody? Okay, well, technically, it was right under your noses, literally, right? Anyway, so what we're going to be doing is for the next couple weeks, we're going to be exploring the sample project. Everybody here is already familiar with using Revit. Let me minimize these a little bit. So this is not about learning how to use Revit. This is going to be exploring some of the features that you didn't use last year. Because remember, last year we did some modeling, right? And hopefully you had loads of fun doing that. So you did some modeling, but we kind of use the, I would call it the basic modeling features of Revit. As you know, for this module, we're focusing on the workflow in a professional environment that uses BIM. So I wanted to highlight this project because this project is a you could call it a semi-real project, right? It actually exists somewhere. If I can bring up my did I have it up? Yeah, let's leave SketchUp and let's go over to Google Earth. Right. And let's go to Brownsville, Pennsylvania. There we go. Right, so right now that project exists right here. So let me go down to Street View. So this is in the United States, Pennsylvania, right? And it's kind of like a historic town. It's kind of like you went to Port Royal or one of these more old towns. And if I go to Street View here, this is where the building used to be, right? And from that little introduction documentary, the main idea behind that is saying that, look, this building was so old. Like if you look at some of these other buildings, well, this one is a little newer. So you can see that it's kind of an old town. Here's the name, Snowdon Place. And because the building was really old, they had to demolish it. So what Autodesk did, it was really a proposal to Autodesk from one of the Revit professionals that use Revit a lot. So what they did was propose, hey, before you demolish this, let's turn it into a fictional project, right? Let's use laser scanning to capture what was there. And of course they say, Autodesk, you're gonna pay me to do this. And Autodesk is like, what am I getting out of it? And they're like, well, what we're gonna do is pretend like this is a real project, and then we're gonna publish everything into Revit. So right now, when you open up Revit and like you go to a new project, you'll notice that you see the sample projects right there. And this semi-fictional project was the result. So Autodesk paid to have professionals pretend like it was a real project. They went on site, did site surveys. They did had an architect that proposed what the new building would look like. They paid for people to do laser scanning. This is what the laser scan look like. Are you guys seeing the screen okay, guys? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Right. So if you look closely, can I put this side by side? Hold on a second. Where is my? I want two. There we go. Okay, for some reason it's not functioning. Anyway, let me just manually do this. Ta-da-ta-da. Come on, computer, you can do it. As you can imagine, these models are quite heavy, right? All right, so this is, come on, what was proposed. That's this building. It starts from here. So this building that you're looking at in the distance is really this one here. Come on, it's really this one here. And if I kind of go down a little bit, this is what you call a point cloud, right? And what it does is capture down to the millimeter everything that exists on the site. This program is called Recap Pro and is a program for viewing point clouds. I mean, come on. There we go. There we go. computer is struggling because I have a bit of stuff open. But if you take a look on the view, there we go. This building is gone, right? And this building that you're seeing here, at the time, this is it. So you can see that it got renovated, and you can see this is what it looked like at the time. So that intro you saw is that when they spoke about capturing, like taking a snapshot of history. When you can go in and do a laser scan, it's different from a photograph. Like this street view is a photograph, so you can say, oh, this is what it looked like, but it's a flat image. This now, on the other hand, is a dynamic image, and this is what they use to recreate this semi-fictional project. Now, who here ever went on a measured survey? Anybody? I know I have some measured survey people here. Yeah, man. Yes, Ansel, your hand should have go up first. When you go on a measured survey, you go with your tape and your pencil or whatever. But if I sent you to measure this building, like, you know, this is pretty tall, we need cranes and wreckers and all of these things. So what's happening nowadays is for measured surveys, they now do laser scanning. And what they do, they come and they set up the lasers, just like what you saw in the video just now. And when they do the lasers, they're able to get the exact precision down to the millimeter, every bump in every stone. And all you do is you import this laser scan into Revit, and then you trace over it. So think about it. When you do a measured survey, you maybe sketch out stuff in your notepad. Some always scan it and put it in the background of your drawing program and draw, and some of you have it side by side. With laser scanning, you actually put it directly in Revit, and then you just draw lines over it, because the laser scanning gives you a 100% accurate, a 100% precise view of the model, which is really cool. Now, we're not going to dive too deep into recap, so I'm going to minimize that. Now, the thing is, when you go ahead and use the laser scanning, you're able to have a very precise drawing of what was there. And then now comes you guys' favorite part, which is the proposal. What are you going to propose to go there? So you go through the process, you know, concept design and, you know, schematic design and everything. And that's exactly what they did with this project. And I mean, they did make money from it. I mean, Autodesk paid them probably not the real money that they would have paid had it been a real project, but they did pay an architect, pay an engineer, pay an electrical engineer, just like a real project, structural engineer. And all of this was in an effort to simulate how can we put together a major project of a historical building using Revit, and then all that information gets fed back into Revit. So that is actually pretty cool. And that's why this project that literally sits under your noses every time you open Revit, we're actually going to go through and explore it. And you can see some of the information here, you know, of the different persons that was a part of the project. These are some of the original images of the project, right? And what the proposal was to be. So this went through all the phases, except construction, of course, including even presentation. So, okay, well, the Twinmotion file isn't open as yet, so when it opens up, I will give you guys a preview, right? Now, of course, they demolished the building after it was scanned, so as you can see, it's no longer there. And then they created the new building. Now, what we are going to do for our project, guys, is bring up website here. Man, I have too much windows open. Okay, here we go. Right. No, not that one. That one. Right. So if you guys go on the website and scroll down, you will see this is going to be, we're going to tackle this. This is going to take about 3 weeks to do. Now, it is a very small exercise because literally this presentation should have 3 slides. 3 slides, right? In this assignment, you're required to form groups of, we can go to 4, as we discussed, we can go to 4, and select one of the topics below. You say it's about, how much people in the class again? About 50? Guys?
Yes, sir. About that.
You said 54?
About that.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna need probably groups of 4. Now, what I want you guys to do, these are features of Revit. Most of them you probably know, and some of you probably don't know. And I want you to answer 3 requests. For each topic that you pick, you are to define what your topic is. So for example, if my topic is what is laser scanning, I'm going to say on a single slide, I'm going to kind of define what laser scanning is. That should take 30 seconds. You know, maybe show an example of laser scanning, you know, what exactly is it, you know, just like how I explained to you guys a while ago. Then you're going to give an industry use of it, right? You get bonus points if it's local, right? If you can find data locally. But basically just an example of how it is used in the industry, right? And you have a slide dedicated to that. Now, the main part of this assignment, which, as I said, I'm going to shuffle these around. So I think I'm going to make this one weighted a bit more, right? And that's going to be, you're going to demonstrate. Firstly, you're going to open this model. You're going to find how was laser scanning used in this model? This is if I was doing this assignment. Let's say I chose the topic, laser scanning. How was laser scanning used in this model? So I'm going to open the model, kind of explore it a little. I'm going to give you 2 resources that will help you out a lot. If you scroll down here, you will see supporting files. Why are there 2 files in? Oh, one is an old one. Right, refresh. Right, you will see some supporting files here. Now, this folder that you see here, if you click it, it's going to take you to the folder that has all the Revit files and everything. Now, chances are you have this file already in your own version of Revit, but I gave you just in case. The handout, and I have 2 videos here. One of them I made you watch is 5 minutes. This one here is a little longer. It's probably close to an hour. And what this is a interview of the team of persons that put together the sample project. Now, the cool thing about this interview is let me show you if I can find the video. Here we go.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is going to be
Right. Now, the cool thing about this sample video is they interview everybody that was a part of this project, right? And they spoke about like some of the challenges, because the idea of this was to use Revit to do something challenging. Now, if you look on the final product of this building, they speak about all of these crazy details that they have over here. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, this is not a box, right? So they spoke about how they approach doing this. And during this conversation, they speak about the features that they use in Revit. So all of the features that I list in our assignment speaks of that ask you, what is, what is view range, and if you listen to the conversation, you will hear everybody kind of talk about their experiences. What is a family? They talk about how they use the family in this project, and it's not exactly direct. Like, they was explaining, oh, I had some challenges when I was building the stairs for this project, and they talk about some of the features and all of that stuff. Now, all of the answers are not in this podcast, but this, because you're interviewing the persons who directly work on it, it's like it's like if Lisa did her final year project and I ask you to tell me about the experience you had with producing the drawings on those sheets. Hearing it firsthand from Lisa, she could say, boy, I had to use this special feature to get this part of the building and da-da-da-da and so forth and so forth. So that is what you will get from going through this little interview here. And open, yes, it's open, right? It's downloading. Okay, right. And along with watching this, also you have to do your own kind of research, but most of your time will not be spent defining what are schedules, because the answer is going to be fairly straightforward. How are schedules used? Fairly straightforward. What you are going to do in that presentation is demonstrate for me how was schedules used in this project. So for that, you have to open the project. You have to kind of navigate to wherever your feature was used and kind of explain how it was used. All right. Now, I kind of like this project. I go through it and I'm saying, wow, look at all of these things. When here is the project here. Can I zoom in? Yeah, let me zoom in. If I go under views, right? And I look under views here, and there is just a massive amount of data here. So like if I look under, I want to see the floor plans. And I open this here. Like, whoa, there's a lot of floor plans. And I can go through, I can look on the floor plans, can open them up. And there are a lot of things happening for this floor plan. What are these numbers that are here? Anybody knows what these numbers are? Anybody?
There are wall tags, sir, I think.
Yeah, the tags.
Right, exactly. And what are wall tags used for? Anybody know?
Showing the type of wall for the schedule.
Exactly, showing a type of what made up this wall. Is a concrete wall, a wooden wall? Because when you look on the plan, it's just plain, right? Then there are these other numbers that are here, right? Door tags. There are stairs. All of this is fully functional, fully usable. And one of the greatest things about this project is, like, just think about it. You're working in an architectural office and you say, oh, I need to do some construction drawings here. And maybe you're like, how would I do a wall tag with this thing? You just open up this project and look how they did it here. Because the idea is this semi-fictional project ideally could have gone to be constructed. That is what we're getting at. And that is one of the important things about this project. Now, there are a lot of very interesting things as well. So for example, if I go to the 3D view here, this is what the project looks like. And it's not a very straightforward project. So for example, you know, look at all of the details here on this facade. And the idea is, by the way, the facade is the only preserved part of this project, because the proposal for this project was to reuse this building, but they basically would demolish everything behind it but save the facade, because that is what had the historical meaning in it. But you can see that the original facade was maintained, but there are some modern elements there, like there's retail and shopping, and all of that is built within the facade. Even if you look on this side here, you can really see some modern elements that are kind of attached to the building on this side. Now, of course, a part of this whole experience is selling this idea. So when you have your client, you know, and this is one of the fun parts, you will need to show persons what this would look like. And what you're seeing here, this is the Twinmotion file. This is also in the project file, guys. You can go in this file and just grab anything to use, right? So we see the roadway there. This is what the facade would look like. And all of this still comes from the same Revit model, right? 2, 5, 6. Right, there we go. So that is the part there that we looked on. And this is that roof element there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, the most awesome thing about this project is that, yeah, we have some cool 3Ds here, but we can actually, in this project, discover the inner workings behind how this works. So for example, we can go down and we can look on sections. We can look at wall sections. How does some of these wall sections work? Right? How would you attach a floor to an existing building? And they have all of these details here, which is some great reference. Like, you know, if you're thinking about your project, suppose you have a project, or even during school and it's a historical project, you can actually take a look on how they treat the connections in this project, because it's fully detailed, right? Now, there are so many drawings that's associated with this building. So many different sections, different drawing sheets. Like if you look at all of these section lines here, a section is cut so many times. Like, you know, imagine for your design studio project, I say, Ansel, I'm going to need 13 sections through your building. Right? So what I like this project is that this kind of gives an example of a fairly decent size project, right? Yes, mic check. Yes, I'm here. Right. Now, the other thing is, when you look through this project, you'll also notice that there are other linked files in here. The version that you will open probably won't have them linked, because it depends on where you have to download them to your computer. So they won't come pre-linked. Maybe they will come pre-linked when you open it, if you open it on your version of Revit. So for example, there are some, well, I'm not gonna spoil it for those of you that will be discussing the topic of linked files, because that's actually one of the topics that we have here, right? What are linked models? So yeah, you're going to define it, so how it's used in the industry. But what I'm looking forward to is when you open up this model and you explain to me, you know, where is it in the model? How was it used? Why was it used? Right? These are some of the things that we are looking forward to. And the idea is all of us are going to kind of educate each other on these features within Revit. Because most of these will not use in architecture school. Like your design student lecturer is not going to ask you to do a door schedule, right? It's not required. But you best believe it, when you go out there in the work world, you need to know what it is. Where is it? Right, generally, the first day you work into your job, they say, generally, I need you to do some window schedules for me in Revit. You follow what I'm saying, guys? So it's not going to be possible for us to visit every feature in Revit. We're going to try to do that on our journey. Remember the journey that we're taking, we are going to be designing a pavilion exhibition, right? We're going to be designing a pavilion exhibition. So I'm going to try as much as possible so that we can use these features so that you will know how to use it out there in the real world. Anyway, let's go back here. The Revit model. One of the other interesting things about this model is that does it show? Actually, it would show in one of the sections. Let me see. Longitudinal section, retail, residential, stair, commercial, grid line 5. Let me see. Right, awesome stuff. All of these light fixtures, everything, you know, how would you attach light fixtures? That question is there. What does this wall look like? There's a detail there that shows what it looks like. Then we have these blown up details, right? So these are callouts. They're actually linked to actual sheets. So this is detail 3 on sheet A501, right? And we can actually go to down here and go to sheets, and we can look for A501. A501, here it is, and it is detail number 3. Oops. There we go. Okay. Right. So this is detail 1, detail 2, detail 3. And this is what it looks like. How do they do this drawing? Like, do they draw this by hand, or is this an actual 3D? Is the model this detailed? What do you think, Zachary? Like, did they model every little thing in this window? Is Zachary here?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here, sir.
What was that?
What was the question?
Yeah, if you look at this window detail that we just highlighted a while ago, like, look at all this detail, fine detail here. I mean, do you think they modeled all of this in Revit?
No, sir.
Any ideas how they did it?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you don't know, because the idea is, right, this is why the sample project is there. You can actually, you know, you can actually go into this drawing and kind of figure it out. You click on this and you say, okay, so this is a wall. So this wall has all of this detail, but then You click on this and you realize, oh, this is actually a detail item. And you're like, what is a detail item? So there's a lot of things to discover in this project. I mean, detail items, they're simple flat 2D drafting. Anybody here use AutoCAD that had to do a detail, and maybe you can download a detail from the internet or whatever? This is like a type of blocks, detail blocks. So everything comes drawn up in detail, and then you just overlay that. You just stick that on top of your 3D model. A lot of us, when we do a Revit drawing and we cut a section, everything just blank. There's no detail in there. You know, what's the thickness of the walls? Is there rendering on the outside of this wall? Is there a wood cladding? What's happening on the, it's just a flat wall. This project here shows you not just the design, the schematic design section of it, but also it goes right up to construction drawings. So, you know, it has the names of specific types of detail, right? That leads me to my other point also with this project. If you remember when we spoke this morning, we spoke about the different drawing phases, right? So we have pre-design. We did pre-design today. We all worked together, came up with a pre-design. You guys submitted the plans to me along with the solar study. Then I am going to do the schematic design. And then I'm going to pass back the baton to you guys, and you guys are going to do design development, right? But even within this project, if you look down on the sheets down here, you can see SD, and SD means schematic design. Now, which means that they didn't include pre-design, but they included schematic design, and they included architectural drawings. So if you look back at this, the diagram here, in this model, this phase and this phase is all in this model that's right here. Sorry, schematic design and construction documentation are all within the model, right? Which is pretty cool. So if you take a look on, where is it? Schematic, so SD, schematic design, which is here. So let's look at, and in this case, schematic design included first floor plan. It's just the floor plans they included here. And you'll notice, yes, it takes a little while to open. Here we go. Right, so this is the schematic design floor plan. So if you compare this floor plan, so SD, that's why schematic design. If you compare this floor plan to this one that we saw here, Andrea, what's the difference that we see here between these two floor plans? Is Andrea here? Edwards? Finding the mute button. Did I reach yet? Proctor, are you here? Is Proctor here? No? Yes? All right. Oh, you reach. So look on these two drawings. What are some of the differences you can tell me? What's the main difference that you notice? Proctor, your mic working? You know, sounds. Just type it. Just type it. All right. Dorman. How we do it on time? After 7? You hear Dorman?
Teacher?
So when you look at these two types of drawing, what's the main difference that jump out at you?
One has the labels on them, the other not really.
True. Okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
Who else? Ansel.
So what was the question?
What's the main difference that jump out to you between these two drawings?
It's showing two different kinds of information.
Mm-hmm. Two different type of?
Like information.
Right. Okay. What are they?
So one you see shows like all the wall types, and the other one showing like the use of the space, like for example commercial or retail.
Right. So one of them is more, I would say, more of a presentation. That's the objective. And one of them is more information. So on the right hand side we have construction drawings, and on the left we have schematic design, right? Which ties back into these phases that we were talking, the production phase. So construction drawings was on the right, schematic design was on the left. Now, schematic design and design development, that will be an interesting discussion for us. Like, what's the difference between these three right here? Like, I can see the plain difference between construction drawings and schematic design, right? And we're going to discuss that later. We're not going to squeeze it in for this class. When you guys come back from your vacation, we can talk about that, right? But the really awesome thing is that both these types of drawing exist in the same model. So for example, when I highlight this wall here in this type of drawing, which is for presentation, this wall here also exists here. And over here, we're getting way more information about this wall, how it's made up, and everything. So the awesome thing about Revit is that you have the same model and you generate different types of information, right? And the way how you do that is by creating different view templates. And I won't be telling you about view templates. You will be telling me, because view templates are one of our topics. What are view templates? So for example, the group that gets view templates, you're supposed to go in here and, you know, explain to me how view templates was used. Show me an example in this model. That's the thing. So what you can do is decide amongst yourself, you know, who have the fastest computer, because obviously this model is a little bit chunky. So whoever will have the fastest model to kind of go through this presentation. I'm thinking about maybe, for those of you that are tech savvy, to maybe consider pre-recording it. Because every year we do this, not all of us have computers that can open this model, and sometimes, yeah, we have some technical challenges. So you guys can tell me how you feel about that. We don't have to worry about it yet. It's going to be a couple weeks time. All right. Right. Now, one of the other things about this project is that multiple persons were working on it at the same time. Right? Remember we said they had the architect, they had the structural, they had the engineer, they had the mechanical and electrical, and they were all working simultaneously in their own Revit files. And then they put all their files together. They reference each other's file, right? So for example, if I try to click on this, on like this column that you see here. Come on. Right. I can't edit it because it says that it is a linked Revit model. So I will await the groups that decide to explain how this works, why we use this, what's the advantage of this, you know. Another interesting thing about this is that this road is actually sloping. Does it show in the Twinmotion file? I don't know if they show it here. They show it here? Yes, they do. If you look closely, can you guys see that road sloping? So it's going down, down, down. So there's actually a 6-foot height difference between this part of the floor plan and this part of the floor plan. But if they had just cut one line and said ground floor, that means that when you get down to the other part of the floor plan, there are some windows that wouldn't show. Right? And I don't know if you guys ever have to work on that. I don't know if in Design Studio they give you buildings, they give you a sloping site, but that would be something you would have to figure out. Like, you know, are these different levels? How do they do that? Right? And that is going to be under, I will look forward to the people that do what are view ranges, what's a view range, and you guys demonstrate to me, like, you know, what is a view range? How was it used? You know, in this model, right? I want you to use this model because when you guys open this model, at first it can be a little overwhelming, like, whoa, there's so much information here. But the more you go through it, the more you will say, oh, so this is how they did this and this is how they did that. And then this helps us to learn a little bit more about Revit. All right. East elevation. Let's close this. So if you look at these two elevations, this is the proposed elevation, and this is the existing elevation. Why are these lines dashed? Anybody can tell me? Because remember, this was the whole building at first, you know. Remember, we looked on that in recap, right? So if we look in recap here, let's rotate it. Right. So remember, this was the original building, right? That we did the laser scan of. And you can see this area that is dashed here is this building here. Anybody can tell me why is it dashed here?
Is it no longer there?
Exactly. I remember the whole idea of this project was that this building was about to be demolished. It's a historic building, but it had to be demolished because it was about to collapse on people, which is a big no-no, right? So this semi-fictional project, they preserved the facade of just this section of the building, meaning they want to rebuild that preserve that facade exactly, but everything else would be demolished. So when you have your drawing and you want to represent something that is going to be demolished and something that is going to be retained, you need to have different ways of visually representing that, right? And in Revit, there are rules for how you do that, right? So I will look forward to the answer of that for the persons who do what is phasing, right? Right, so as you can see, this is the new facade, and you can see that this was the part of the building that they kept, And then this was the now modern, the ultra modern part of the building, right? Cool. I wonder what these walls look like. Well, if we want to know, we could go to a plan. So let's look on the plan. Now, notice that some of the plans, notice you have plan here and then you have plan working. I want to throw out this question. Does anybody know why you have this difference? Why is it that you have, where's my pencil? Right. Yeah, so why is it that you have plans? Right, pink. Yeah. Plans versus plans working. Anybody can tell me? Okay, I just figured I'd just throw this question out there because just to see if everybody would know. And one of the reasons is that the ones on the floor plans is like the final version. This is what you're going to print. The ones on the working is like I need to rotate this to this view so that I can delete this thing. But you don't want to rotate the final building, the final drawing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you need to manipulate the model, but you don't want to manipulate the model that you're about to print because you might mess something up. So you have another version of the model, which in this case it's called working. People call it different name. Anyway.
Sorry, quick question. Oh.
Go ahead.
So in that case, anything you do to one wouldn't affect the other.
That is true. But let's say that, for example, you need, let's say in your 3D view, you have a view that you have the perfect angle and you say, yes, this is the angle I want to do to put on my sheet. But you need to select something that you can only select in the 3D view and it there, round here so. So you don't want to mess up your 3D view to select this thing to do whatever, and then you're going to have to find back that view. So what you can do, you just create another view and call that working. And you just rotate that any way you want. So yes, it will affect the same model, which is a good thing, right? But you just need to be able to see it. So, right, so let's say we wanted to find out, how do these windows, how does this wall work here? You know, we go hunting. So we said that, well, we definitely have to look like either on level 4 or 5. Like we can't look on level 1. And look, there are different level 1s, because remember, this is sloping. So you have a level 1 for this part of the building. You have a level 1 for this part of the building. And you have a M1. What's the M1 for? Oh, I don't know what the M1 is for, but you have two level 1. You have two different levels here, right? So we know we have to look on level 3. So if we say, all right, let me look on level 3. And then we know, say it's over here, and you say, oh, wow. And then we say, hold on. Yeah, they did cut a section through here, so I can see what does this window look like. And that window is on a 406. Now, we could go and search for a 406 if we want, but we could also just click on this view, right click and say, we could say find in project browser and see, this is it. It's called a solar wall. So we open this up and this is what that view looks like. So you zoom into this and you say, oh, this is interesting. They have like a slant here, and then you have a window here, right? So what I'm saying is that there are interesting things to discover about this building, and you can go in and hunt it down and figure it out. I just gave you like 12, 13 things, you know, but there are hundreds of things here. Even though I do this from year to year, when I come back to this building, I'm like, how in the world did they make that? and you go and you investigate. All right. All right. So yeah. So I'm not going to dive down anymore into this. What we need to do now, I need to know what groups you have decided to go into and what topics you have selected. So in order to do that, what do I need to do? I see some of you send me some messages already, but BIM. Groups. Yes, where are the group thingies? Where is the group button? I didn't put a group button here. Well, here's the groups, but oh, this is the groups for the for the project. You know what? I wonder if we could just use the same groups. That would just make life easier. So when you guys go in groups, you just use the same group for the rest of BIM, right? So I'm gonna put a group button. Where am I going to put it? I'm going to put a group button up the top. Yeah. And I want you to just go in and hold on, how much members did I have this set up for? Oh man, I only had this set up for 3 members. But I'm gonna want it for 4 members. Okay, you know what? No, we're gonna keep them separate. The groups for the presentation is different than the groups for the final project. So we're just gonna do this
Sir,
yeah.
why you make the groups different?
Say again?
You see why you make the groups different?
Yeah, because the groups for the final project will have to be 3, regardless of the amount of people.
Oh, okay.
Right, it will have to be 3, and I have a feeling you're going to be picking different members. So, but when we get to that bridge, we cross it, right? For now, we'll just do things the old school way that I usually do it every semester. Because as I said, this exercise will only be like for the first the first 1/3 of the semester. So it's not a big assignment. The main part of this assignment is you opening this model and figuring out where in this model showcases the feature that I want to present, right? So I'm gonna take a screenshot.
Your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said for the presentation, it's a case where you're gonna let us know later if we can pre-record it, or you decided already?
I mean, I would say if you are savvy enough and you want to pre-record it, you could. You know, this is computing, so we want to be technology oriented. The thing is, the main thing is that I'm gonna ask you questions whenever you show me, and during the process of asking you questions, I will just probably show you on my screen. Yeah, because as I say, historically when I do this, I notice that most computers kind of struggle. So when somebody's showing me something and then click to turn off something, everybody there waiting for 30 seconds for it to come off. So yeah, Yeah, the pre-recording, I will definitely recommend that if you can. If not, you can just do it live. All right. Okay, so we are gonna have much people now. Let's say about 6 on this side, so 3 and 3. We have 7 on one side now. I mean, you know what? Let me just move this. Let me stick this here.
There are many members for this presentation.
How many?
Yeah, per group.
Up to 4. You
Okay.
can go up to 4. Yeah. Pretty much you have to pick a topic. So, and everybody has to participate in order to get their grades. So if you end up with 4, hopefully you don't have to end up with 5. For now, 4 is the limit, because the presentation is not very big, guys. Like you don't need a whole army of people. You know what I mean? That's why it's usually 3, but we have an unusually big class today. So I usually have this thing already made, but I think I accidentally deleted it. So that's why I'm here doing it again. All right, here we go. All right, so what I want you guys to do is you're gonna sign on to the Miro board and you're gonna put yourself into groups. I'm not gonna do it. You guys are gonna do it. No, all you're going to do, you don't need to touch this. You just need to write your name on the sticky pad. Now you can only one person at a time can manipulate the sticky pad. So yeah, don't linger. Don't linger on the sticky pad. All right, just type your name and click off of it so somebody else can get to go at it. Right now maximum is 4. So all right, so let's go ahead and put your name on the sticky pad. I am just going to connect these. So you just need to follow the sticky pad. Please don't adjust my boxes. Thank you. All right. Not that. Oh, I can't, as I'm using it. So we're going zigzag. So this one over here, this one over here, this one over here, this one over here. All right, if for any reason you can't get onto the Miro board, please contact your classmate and say, hey, can you put me in the topic 11 or whatever? Right? Just okay, thank you. Just can you give me, thank you. You're good. Oh, how helpful. All right, and there we go. All right. Remember, guys, you have to click off of it in order for somebody else to use it. Please. All right. Maximum 4 to our group. The group is filled. Just put your name in another group. All right. These are there's like all of these are simple topics, guys. So none of this is hard. They're all easy. All right. It don't matter what topic you get. You can just mess around with the model and just find, okay, what is view range? You Google it, chat GPT, whatever, find out what it is, and then say, oh, okay, is this? So let me go in the model and look for that. And then you come up with a way you can explain it to me. I remember at the end of the day, you're presenting to me. So you are going to say, well, in this model, view range was used to XYZ, and you access the view range by clicking here and showing this, because we are all learning about Revit, and some of us are learning about these features for the first time. So you need to definitely explain what it does and how it is in the model. All right. I see some groups there with like 6 people. If you have more than 6 people, I'm going to randomize you and put you in another group. All right. So please. All right, guys. Please don't hug the groups. All right. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Well, this is pretty much it for the class. We'll continue exploring this model when you guys come back from study tour, right? For right now, you're just putting yourselves in groups. I have some information here about the model, right? That you guys can use. By the way, let me show you how to use this chart, right? When you open this model, you will notice that there are some question marks there. So for example, if you want to view like a holistic version of this model, go to the sheets section and you will see all the drawing sheets, right? So for example, if you want to see the roof plan, just double click it and it will show you the roof plan with, you know, the drawing sheet and everything. Because, you know, when you look at it on the sheet, you know that it is, you know, it's ready to print. Now, what you might notice is, oh, it's not on the roof plan. Let me see if it's on like the first floor plan. By the way, in the US, first floor is ground floor, right? So, all right. So you will notice these question marks in different places. And what these question marks are is that they are aligned with this little how do I section here. So if you read this, he said there are some main Revit features that you will see showcased in the project, right? And so for example, how do I add walls? Well, if you look on level 1, you will see an example of how to do that. How do I create a building elevation view? If you look on level 2, so these question marks poses how you do these things. And some of these you know already. So for example, if I double click here and I click on the question mark, it's a little bit, you know, manual, but crap, maybe I shouldn't tell you to do it on the sheet view, because the sheet view, yeah, you have to double click to go in it. Anyway, when you click on the question mark, there's a link here. And you just paste the link in a browser. Use a new sheet. And it goes to the section that tells you how to create it. It tells you, oh, you click on that, you click on that, you click on that, and so forth, right? So, because this whole project is also used as a training exercise for learning Revit. So some of these are going to be basic features, so you probably know how to do them already, but some of them might be things that might help you in your presentation. So just in case you're wondering, what are these question marks here, right? Yeah, look at this, planting schedule with a question mark. So if you ever want to know what this is, you can click on it and just paste that in a browser and create a linear curtain. Oh, wait, linear curtain wall. Oh, I paste the same link, did I? Oh, my bad. I think I replaced the people's thing by mistake. Right, so let me click in there and copy, Control C. I think I did Control V instead.
Sir, where can we find the instructions for that assignment?
For what assignment? Oh, it's on the website. So when you go to the website here, you just scroll down. Here it is. Theory assignment 30%. This is the instruction.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Remember, the supporting material is here. Remember, you guys, everybody, when they leave here, they should watch this interview to get an understanding of the project. You don't, I mean, you can let it play while you're doing some studio, while you're jogging outside. Like, well, you're going to need to actually see stuff because they actually open the model and show you stuff. So definitely watch this interview to kind of get a feel of it. When you come back, I will have your design drawings ready so that you guys can start the design development drawings, right? Because if you remember our journey here is, you know, we worked on this today. I'm going to do this so that you can use this to then do this. And design development drawings is, this will be your delivery for this module. Like, you're not going to do construction drawings as a practical example. We're doing that as theory, not as a practical. So you're not going to be producing drawings that look like what you see here in Revit with all of these crazy details. You're not going to be doing this type of drawing, right? You're going to be doing design development drawing. And for those of you that want to skip ahead and understand what these are, there are examples that I've posted here. And these are all projects that I've personally worked on. Some of these are actual projects from my office that, you know, I just copy and put it here. So, you know, I can attest to personal experiences of producing these types of drawings, things to look out for, things to expect. But we'll be talking about that when you guys come back. So for now, just focus on putting yourselves in groups, watching that video to get a feel of this project, and then start to open this project and explore it so that you can present your question. All right. I see families are very popular.
So where's the link for that video?
It is on the website. So if you go on the website here, when you go on the website, it's under supporting files, right? So here's the assignment. It'll scroll on a little bit more to supporting files.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Use the rest of the class time to, if you didn't finish your massing model, do not let today pass without you finish it. Don't start the semester off on a bad foot, because remember, after the due date, this submission target will be no longer accepting responses, and you would have missed out on this 2%, right? So this is something that's supposed to be done in class today because we had the time. So see if you can finish it up. As usual, the class recordings are there. So you can head over to the class recording and it's right there along with a summary of what was done for the class. All right, so you can just go there and watch that video so you can get it done. All right, guys, enjoy your study tour. All right, be safe.
Thank you, sir.
Right, and enjoy your study tour. Be safe. Finish your work. Don't try not to carry any homework with you for study tour. Try and keep it blank. Right?
Sir.
Yeah, Christian.
Sir. Yeah, where upload the mass model?
The massing model that you did, you're gonna upload it on the website right here. All right.
Okay.
Remember, everything that we work on throughout this entire semester, we're gonna hand it in at the end officially for you to get your 60%. However, throughout the semester, if you hand in the stuff at the particular times these are due, you get an extra 2%. All right. So it isn't necessarily that the massing model is due. The solar study is due today. It's due at the end of the semester. But if you hand it in today, you get extra marks. All right.
Okay, sir.
All right. Everything is on the website, guys. So if you have any questions, start with the website. Questions about schedule when stuff is due, website. If you need a link to the mirror board, meetings, grades, class recordings, everything on the website. All right, guys. Take care. And I'll see you in the next 2 weeks. All right? Oh, you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when everybody want to ask about advanced computing.
Oh, you want to follow up on that?
Yes.
Did I? All right, I can put. Okay, let me stop and put you in.